The moment the classroom fell silent, everyone realized this wasn't going to be an ordinary day, and what happened next would change every student's life forever. No one could have predicted that a simple act of cruelty would awaken a strength so powerful. It would expose the true meaning of respect, courage, and justice. The new teacher, Ms. Erin, stood at the front of the class with a calm smile that didn't quite hide her nervousness. She was young, confident, and carried herself with quiet dignity. This was her first day at the school, and she genuinely wanted to connect with her students. But this class had a reputation: unruly, disrespectful, and ruled by a group of bullies who enjoyed humiliating teachers for entertainment. As she began her introduction, a few students whispered and laughed, testing her patience. She ignored it at first, continuing with warmth and composure. But the bullies had other plans. Among them was Jake, the unofficial leader, charismatic, athletic, and used to getting his way. He smirked as he leaned back in his chair, whispering jokes loud enough for the class to hear. When Ms. Erin gently asked him to settle down, he scoffed, standing up with exaggerated confidence. The class held its breath as he walked closer, pretending to comply. Suddenly, he tugged at her shirt in a mocking attempt to intimidate her. The fabric tore slightly under the rough movement, and a gasp rippled across the room. Laughter erupted from a few corners, while others looked away in shock. For a brief moment, the room felt frozen in time. Ms. Erin looked down at the torn fabric, her expression shifting, not to fear, not to anger, but to a calm, steady resolve. Her eyes lifted slowly to meet Jake's, and in that second, something in her presence changed. The playful arrogance on his face began to waver. She spoke softly but firmly, warning him to step back. Instead, he smirked again, emboldened by the attention of his peers. What happened next stunned everyone. In a fluid, controlled motion, Ms. Erin redirected his aggressive stance and executed a precise judo throw, dropping him safely but firmly onto the classroom floor. The sound of his fall echoed louder than any shout. The laughter died instantly. The room plunged into silence, not out of fear, but awe. She didn't humiliate him. She didn't yell. She simply stood tall, adjusting her torn shirt with dignity, and calmly reminded the class that strength isn't about bullying, it's about discipline, control, and respect. The principal was called, and rumors spread throughout the school within hours. Some students expected Ms. Erin to be fired. Others admired her more than ever. But the real impact came in the days that followed. Jake returned to class quieter than before. The confidence that once fueled his cruelty seemed shaken. He avoided eye contact at first, embarrassed by the public defeat. But Ms. Erin didn't treat him like an enemy. Instead, she offered him a chance to change, encouraging him to channel his energy into something positive. Slowly, the classroom atmosphere began to shift. Students who had once been silent victims started speaking up. Respect replaced mockery. Fear gave way to understanding. As weeks passed, Ms. Erin shared pieces of her own story. She revealed she had once been bullied herself, and learning martial arts had given her confidence, not to hurt others, but to protect herself and stand up for what was right. Her lessons weren't just about textbooks anymore, they were about empathy, responsibility, and inner strength. Jake eventually approached her after class, struggling to apologize. He admitted he'd been acting out because of pressure at home and a need to impress others. Instead of shaming him, she listened. That moment marked a turning point, not just for him, but for the entire class. The former bully began helping classmates instead of tormenting them, proving that people can change when given guidance rather than hatred. By the end of the year, the class that once thrived on disrespect had transformed into a community built on support and accountability. Ms. Erin's torn shirt became a symbol, not of humiliation, but of resilience. The story spread beyond the school, inspiring others to believe that true power lies not in intimidation, but in courage, self-control, and compassion. And long after the incident faded into memory, one lesson remained unforgettable. The strongest people aren't those who tear others down, but those who stand firm, rise with dignity, and teach even their enemies how to grow.